These fake scandals are created, and then they have some effect. And you've been talking about the effect before I came on the show here.
Are all the scandals involving the Clintons, quote, fake scandals?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I take you through each one in this book, you know, I've dealt with the ones from the 90s and prior books, as you know. Yeah, look, nothing's been found. These are nothing burgers.
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent.
I don't think that Hillary Clinton brought that on herself. I really don't. I wouldn't have thought, and you know, I try to predict a lot in here, the Republican playbook, but 6 months ago, I wouldn't have thought we'd still be here talking about the emails.
It's not a Republican playbook. Yeah. And that's the thing. Well, you say it's a nothing burger. If it's a nothing burger, you attack the New York Times, you attack the FBI as well. Do you think the FBI is on a witch hunt against Hillary Clinton? I mean, you know, Hillary will come out and say things that just aren't true. She'll say, well, gee, I didn't break any rules. She did. There was a 2009 regulation to the Obama. I mean, you talked the Obama administration.
He doesn't believe that.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but you don't.
We can agree to disagree.
We can agree to.
In a statement to All In, the Times, which endorsed Clinton for president in 2008, had this to say: David Brock is an opportunist and a partisan who specializes in personal attacks. His partisanship has led him to lash out at some of our aggressive coverage of important political figures, and it's unsurprising he's now turned personal. He's wrong on all counts. Ouch. Joining me now, David Brock, author of Killing the Messenger, the right-wing plot to derail Hillary Clinton and hijack your government, in which Brock claims the New York Times has become, quote, a megaphone for conservative propaganda against Hillary Clinton.
I lay out a very detailed case in this book about an institutional bias against the Clintons by the New York Times.
The New York Times editorial board just announcing that they are endorsing Hillary Clinton for president. The editorial, which will appear in print in Sunday's paper the day before the first presidential debates, emphasizes national security and cites Clinton's experience as Secretary of State. The paper says she is better qualified to shape U.S. foreign policy than her Republican challenger, Donald Trump. The Times also backed Clinton during the Democratic primary fight.
You have to start with Benghazi. Okay, a failed investigation, even Republicans investigating it find nothing, okay?
Madam Secretary, regardless of where he ranked in the order of advisors, it is undisputed that a significant number of your emails were to or from a Sidney Blumenthal. Now, he did not work for the State Department. He didn't work for the U.S. government at all. He wanted to work for the State Department, but the White House said no to him. Do you recall who specifically at the White House rejected Sidney Blumenthal?
No, I do not.
After he was turned down for a job at the State Department by the White House, he went to work where?
I think he had a number of consulting contracts with different entities.
Well, if he had a number of them, do you recall any of them?
I know that he did some work for my husband.
Well, he worked for the Clinton Foundation.
That's correct.
Okay. He worked for Media Matters.
I'm sure he did.
He worked for Correct the Record.
I'm sure he did.
So Republican operatives collude with the New York Times to create this email scandal, and let me tell you why. I mean, I think you may have mentioned it. It's a brilliant stroke because this is a liberal paper, right? And it's the gold standard, and it's the newspaper of record. So it's the perfect host body for the anti-Clinton virus. Yeah, look, nothing's been found. These are nothing burgers.
So you can't be square with the American people. You can tell your family it's a terrorist attack, but not the American people. You can tell the president of Libya it's a terrorist attack, but not the American people. And you can tell the Egyptian prime minister it's a terrorist attack, but you can't tell your own people the truth.
Is there a vast right-wing conspiracy?
Well, there was, and in my last book, Blinded by the Right, I outed that vast right-wing conspiracy.
The David Brock Group, it's been reported this week in New York Magazine, is digging through Vice President Biden's past, his record, so-called opposition research. My question is, do you approve of this?
I first of all, I have no knowledge of it. I have been very clear. Anybody who listens to my public statements, anybody who pays attention to what I say.
I did not
email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified materials.
I never sent or received any classified material. They are retroactively classifying it.
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
As Secretary Clinton said yesterday, that kind of scrutiny comes with the territory of running for president. And yes, people should go to and look at Secretary Clinton's actions. They're public, and she should be held to account for them.
We kind of can't, because what should be in the public record, or at least viewed by the State Department, has been scrubbed.
So I guess that's the next question, David. We have these things stacking up. Is it fair to actually ask, again, going back to the email controversy, whether in fact there may be information there that could help us figure out whether there was a quid pro quo? Because at the end of the day, that's really the question here that has to be uncovered once we investigate it. Does a lack of email, a trail of emails, does it make it harder to do that? To get to that answer?
Well, 55,000 pages of email have been turned over to the State Department, and those are going to become public. And so if there's anything relevant in there, sure, then we'll find that out. And, Secretary Clinton has asked that they become public quickly.
David, don't deflect. I'm talking about the ones that were scrubbed. How can you get answers from the ones that were scrubbed that might be considered, quote, personal business? There's no answer, is there?
But there is. Everything relevant to her public duties is in those 55,000 pages.
No, David.
That's the way the law works, Mika.
No, actually, David, you don't have to give me a lesson on the regulations of the State Department. She scrubbed emails because she felt like it, and that went against regulation, and she says they were
did not go against regulation. It totally followed regulation.
David, that she scrubbed emails that she wanted to scrub. Not
it's
anyone
everybody's
else's.
call in government to make those choices, Mika. That's how the law works. And so let's not create a double standard for Hillary Clinton.
Again?
No, we've done this before.
You're going to pretend.
Let's talk about Schweitzer,
guys. Let's talk about the book. We've had the debate about the 2009.
We are talking about the book.
The 2009 regulations before. I'm sure, David, after the book comes out, we'll all read it, and let's meet back here again, same place, and talk about it some more.
Be happy to do it.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you, David Brock. We appreciate it.